Hello, welcome to part two of our online class about pollution. And now we're going to look at a very specific type of pollution, and that's called stormwater pollution. When we mean stormwater, we mean the water that falls to the surface of the earth as either rain or snow. We have a storm, a rainstorm, a snowstorm, water falls to the surface of the earth. It picks up different types of pollutants and carries those pollutants into a river or a lake or to the ocean. So let's look very specifically at a few examples of what we mean when we say stormwater pollution. We also call this non-point source pollution. And what that means is that no one is out there trying to pollute. No one is deliberately polluting, but unfortunately, we're not always as clean or as careful as we should be. So just as a consequence of living on the earth, sometimes our waste ends up in the environment where it's a type of pollution. So let's think about our house. We have a septic tank for our sewage waste, or we have a sewer line for our sewage waste. They could leak, and we could be talking about septic pollution winding up in the environment. We have a car, and even the best cars, we have an occasional drip of oil or a drip of antifreeze or a drip of some other chemical from our car. Those things end up on the ground. Maybe on our house, we have a lawn or a garden, and we put down fertilizer, or we put down an insecticide or a herbicide as part of our lawn care. If we have a dog or a cat and we don't clean up their waste, we have pet waste that has bacteria in it, and bacteria can be a type of pollution. Even the shingles of our roof will contribute kind of like a gritty dirt to the environment. When rain hits our shingles on the roof, the shingles wear away a little bit, and that little bit of shingle ends up in the environment and can be thought of as a type of pollutant. So we have all these things that we just drop or leak or leave on the ground without meaning to. And when the stormwater comes or the rain comes and the snow comes, all of those things get washed off of our roof or washed off of our driveway or washed out of our lawn or our gardens down into the storm drain, which carries our rainwater away from our house, and then ends up in a river or the ocean. This is a little drawing of a typical city and some of the ways that stormwater pollution can originate in a larger city. So we can have someone applying pesticides or fertilizers to a garden. We can have a leak of gasoline. We might have trash or litter being washed into the storm drain. We can have drips of oil or grease or antifreeze from a car. We can have soil or sediment or soil being dug up and washing down into the storm drains. We can have leaks from heavy equipment, hydraulic fluid, or we can have trash from, in this example, the food truck, all being washed down into the drain by the rainwater or snow melt and ending up in a stream, in a river, and in this example, into a part of the ocean. So just the ordinary things that we do when we can leave behind bits of pollution, and when those bits of pollution get washed into a lake or washed into a river or washed into a stream or washed into the ocean, we call those things stormwater pollution. Now, if you've been following the news from the summer of 2019, you may know that beaches in Lake Hopatcong And Greenwood Lake had been closed because of nutrient pollution, which is a type of runoff pollution, a type of stormwater pollution. Algae growth had become so high in these lakes that the swimming beaches had to be closed. And here is a photograph from Lake Kapakong. You could see the algae building up here along the shoreline and making the water unfit for people to use for recreation, for boating or swimming or even fishing. And the reason the water was not safe was these things. It's called cyanobacteria. Cyano is a word that means blue, and this means blue-green bacteria or blue-green algae. It's a type of naturally occurring algae, grows in lakes all the time, but when there's too much of it, it can cause ecological damage to the lake. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So I'm going to pause, and then you can queue up part 3.